Join Kids Hut family.
Hey, Tia. What are you doing?
I'm meeting the new school principal tomorrow, so just putting my things in order.
Oh, you want to impress him, is it?
I'm not sure about that, but I don't want to disappoint him either.
Maybe you should tell him that you're the best in class. And also tell him that you're a champion swimmer and always come first in all the sports activities. And that you always win all the debates and elocutions.
Tofu, I can't do that. Not all of that is true.
Yes, but most of it is.
Oh boy, you're acting like the miller.
The miller? Who is that?
Come, let me tell you a story. Rumplestilskin. Once upon a time, the king called the village miller to the court. The miller went there with a mind to impress the king by any means possible. And so when he was presented in front of the king, he lied that his daughter, who was an excellent spinner, could spin gold from straw. Oh, that's impressive. I order you to bring her to the castle tomorrow, and she will spin gold for me. The miller goes back home and tells his daughter what he'd done.
Oh no! What have you done, father? I cannot spin gold. I don't think anyone can.
I know, and I am sorry, my child, but there is no way out of it now. You must go to the court tomorrow and spin the best you can.
Yes, father.
And so the girl went to the court the next day. Your father tells me that you can spin gold out of straw. In that room there is bale of straw. I give you till tomorrow morning. You must spin it into gold by then, or you will lose your life. The miller's daughter had no choice but to do as told. She went into the room and locked herself in. As the night wore on, she didn't know what to do. There was no way she could spin gold. Afraid that her father's lie would get her punished by the king, she started crying. Just then, a strange little man appeared in the room.
I know what bothers you.
Do you?
Yes, and I can help you. I can spin the straw into gold for you.
Oh, please, do it then. I beg of you.
What will you give me in return?
I can give you this necklace of mine.
Okay, I will spin for you.
And so the little man got to the spinning wheel and started spinning. Within an hour, he had converted all the straw into gold. He then took the necklace from the miller's daughter and went out of the window. The next morning, the king came into the room. Is my gold ready?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Very good. Now I have another test for you. The castle's barn is full of straw. You will spin all that straw into gold till tomorrow morning. The miller's daughter was taken to the barn. Once alone, she was again surrounded by worries. She didn't know what to do. Soon it was night. Afraid of the king's reaction, she started crying.
You've got a barn full of straw for yourself today.
The girl looked up to see the strange man from the night before.
Yes, and the king needs it to be spun into gold by tomorrow morning.
What will you give me in exchange for it now?
I don't have much, but I can give you this ring off my finger.
The man took the ring from her and started spinning the straw into gold. The next morning, when the king saw the shining gold, his greed increased. Very well, the castle has yet another barn, bigger than this one. If you value your life, you will spin all the straw in it into gold by tomorrow morning. If you succeed, I will marry you and make you the queen. And if you fail, off with your head I'll have. Once again, the king had left. The girl was taken into another barn. It was bigger than any room that the girl had ever seen, and so full of straws. She broke down as soon as the king's men had left. She knew she was surely doomed now. When night fell, the little man appeared again.
Need my help again, is it?
Yes, please. Please spin the straw into gold and save me.
Well, I could do that. But what will you give me now?
I have nothing left to give you now.
You could give it to me when you have it.
Yes, I will. Tell me, what can I give you?
Your firstborn child.
The girl gasped, but thought, who knows what may happen in the future? It was wiser to save her present. So she agreed.
Okay, I will give you my firstborn child.
The strange man happily got to spinning the straw. When the king came in the next morning, the whole barn was full of glistening gold. Happy, he announced his marriage with the miller's daughter. Soon a year passed and the new queen gave birth to a baby boy. The boy was only a day old when the strange little man appeared in her room once again.
It is time to settle your debt. The boy is mine.
Oh no! Can't you forget this debt?
Never.
Please, there has to be some way. I will give you gold, fortunes, whatever you want.
I only want the boy, but I will give you 3 days to guess my name. If at the end of the 3rd day you can guess it right, I will leave you and this boy alone. If you can't, the boy will be mine.
As soon as the man had left her room, the queen called her trusted soldier and ordered him to gather every name he can find in the kingdom. The soldier set on his mission immediately. The next evening, he came and gave the queen a list of names. When night fell, the little man visited the queen again.
Do you know my name?
Is it James? Or Jack?
Well, is it Richard?
Or Kenny?
She continued with all the names she knew and the names that the soldier had brought back from the village.
No, no, no. These are not my names.
But the little man said no to every name.
That is not my name. I leave you now with 2 days left to find what it is.
The queen sent her man out yet again to go to the farthest corners of the kingdom. Till then, she read all the books she could find, hoping that one of them might give her the man's name. The next night, when the man came back, she gave him the names her soldier had brought back and the ones she had collected from the books.
Is your name Casper? Sheepshanks? Tommen?
None of them.
I leave you again. I will come back tomorrow to take away the boy, because you won't be able to guess my name.
Once again, the queen implored the soldier to go out in the kingdom and find her a name. The next evening, before the little man would come, the soldier returned to the queen with some news.
My lady, alas, I could not find any new names in the kingdom and its neighbors. However, last night, after I left the castle, I came upon a clearing in the forest where I saw a strange little man danced around the fire. He sang a strange song too. She can search the land, she can search the sky, but a name like mine she will never come by. Rumplestilskin, that's me.
The moment the queen heard the name, she knew it was the one. She happily waited for the strange man to come visit her.
Have you found my name yet?
Oh no! I can only wonder what it can be. Is it apple tree? Myrrel? Or maybe Rumplestilskin?
How can that be? This is some sort of sorcery. How did you know my name?
The moment the strange man heard his name, he became very angry. He shouted and stomped around the room. In his anger, he stomped so hard that there became a big hole in the ground and he fell into it, towards his death.
I wonder if the queen ever told her father about all this.
We will never know, but we do know that trying to impress people may get us into big trouble.
Oh yes, that lesson I've learned today, and I don't think I will ever forget it. Thanks, Tia, for this wonderful story. Hey guys! Hello! What do you want? Can I play with you guys? This is a game for big kids. Go away.
Actually, why don't you stay to hear a story I was about to tell my brother?
Okay, thanks.
Once upon a time, there lived a king who had 12 beautiful daughters. He loved the princesses dearly. But one thing about them worries him a lot.
I cannot understand what my daughters do, because of which they need a new pair of shoes every morning. How can it be that their shoes are fine through the day, but in the morning they are worn out completely?
To find the truth behind his daughter's shoes, the king announced in the kingdom that anyone who uncovered the secret would be awarded handsomely. Many people came. But no one could understand how the princesses managed it. One day, an old soldier decided to go to the palace. As he was walking, he came across an old woman. "Where are you going?"
I am going to the palace. I would love to solve the mystery of the princesses and become a king one day.
That's not very difficult. Here, take this invisibility cloak and use it when the time is right. Nobody will be able to see you as long as you wear it. Just be wary not to drink the wine that one of the princesses will bring you. The soldier thanked the woman and went on his way to the castle. Once there, he went to meet the king.
I can find the truth behind the worn-out shoes of the princesses. If you fail, I will have your head cut off. And if I do it, you will allow me to marry one of your daughters. You have courage, young man. Very well. You will sleep in the princess's room tonight.
The soldier was introduced to the princesses and given a cozy bed in the princess's room. Just before he was about to sleep, a princess brought him a glass of wine. He only pretended to drink it and lay down on his bed and pretended to sleep. After some time, the eldest princess came up to him and checked if he was asleep.
He is fast asleep, sisters. Let's go.
All the sisters got together and pulled out prettiest of their clothes and got dressed. All of them were excited except the youngest one.
I am not sure about this, sisters. I think something will go wrong tonight.
Oh, you simpleton! You worry unnecessarily. Nothing will happen. Now come, let's go. The eldest princess then went to her bed and clapped twice. The bed sunk to the floor and a secret stairway opened underneath. All the princesses followed one after the other. The soldier also quickly got up and put on the cloak. He then followed the princesses onto the stairway. But halfway through, he accidentally stepped on the gown of the youngest princess.
I am telling you, sisters, something is amiss. Someone has got hold of my gown. Don't be a fool. It might just be a nail. Now stop crying, or you will delay us.
All the princesses, followed by the invisible soldier, made their way to the bottom of the stairs. They found themselves in a beautiful grove of fruit-laden trees and flowers made of silver. Beyond the grove was a lake where 12 handsome princes awaited the princesses in 12 small boats. The princesses rushed to their beloved, each and got into his boat. The soldier sneaked into the boat with the youngest princess.
The boat is very heavy today.
I don't know what is happening today. Everything is wrong.
The princesses and the princes reached the other side of the lake. There was another beautiful grove there. It was lit with 1,000 lamps and music wafted throughout. Let's go, sisters! Everybody got off the boats and into the grove. The princesses and the princes danced with each other like there was no tomorrow. The soldier hid himself in one corner and watched everything. The princesses danced through the night. And when morning came, they returned to the palace and slept.
So this is where the princesses go, and this is why their shoes wear out overnight. Let me see what they do tonight.
The soldier waited and watched. The same thing happened again. The next morning, the soldier told the king what he'd found out. The king called his daughters.
Is it true what the soldier has to say?
Yes, father.
Well, soldier, looks like you have earned your reward. Which princess will you marry?
I am not very young now, so I would like to marry the eldest princess.
The soldier and the princess were married on the same day, and he became the heir of the king.
Arrogance doesn't help people too much, does it, Tia?
No, it doesn't.
I am sorry. I was mean to you. We'll be back here to play tomorrow. Why don't you come and join us then? It's okay. I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Thanks for narrating the story, Tia. Bye-bye. Bye. Tia, I'm getting bored. Will you please stop reading and talk to me?
Bored? How can you get bored, Tofu? Why don't you write a story of your own?
I can't think up a story, Tia, especially when I'm so bored.
Looks like you haven't heard of Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland. One sunny day, Alice was sitting next to her sister while she was reading. Her sister had been reading books all morning, and Alice was very bored now. She thought for a while and decided to ask her sister to stop reading. She was about to do that when she saw a little white rabbit with pink eyes run past her.
I am late. I have to hurry. I am late.
Saying so, he ran into his rabbit hole. Alice was suddenly interested in this turn of events, and she decided to follow the rabbit. She went to his rabbit hole and peered down it. Suddenly, the hole gave away and Alice fell into it. She kept falling for what seemed like a very long time.
Will I ever stop falling? What kind of a strange hole is this?
At last, she landed with a thud in a big empty room. The room had 3 doors of different sizes. She saw the rabbit outside the smallest door before it closed shut. But the door was very tiny, no bigger than Alice's new pencil back home.
I must get on the other side of that door. But how will I do that? It is so small.
Then Alice noticed a small table in the corner of the room. She went to it to find a small bottle of pink potion with the label "Drink Me" on it. Next to it was a small little key, the size of the smallest door's lock.
I think this key belongs to that door. I wonder what this potion will do to me. Let me try.
And so Alice took the key in one hand and drank the potion from the bottle. Suddenly, Alice could no longer see the top of the table. The empty bottle of the pink potion became too heavy for her and fell out of her hand. She was shrinking.
What is happening to me? I am shrinking.
Once Alice was small enough to go through the smallest door, the shrinking stopped. Alice quickly ran to the door, opened it, and ran out. She found herself in the most beautiful garden she had ever seen. But she could not enjoy it because she was so tiny and all the flowers and plants were so big.
Oh, I wish I was bigger.
Hearing her, the white rabbit came to her and ordered her rather rudely,
Go to my house and get my gloves and fan.
Alice didn't know why the rabbit was so rude to her. Perhaps he didn't like being followed. Nevertheless, she decided to follow the instructions because she was curious and wanted to see the rabbit's house. When she entered the rabbit's home, she saw a yummy-looking cake on the kitchen top. It had a sticker on its plate that said, "Eat me." Alice was really hungry by now. She'd even missed lunch, so she decided to eat the cake. As soon as she took one bite, she started growing again. Soon, she would not fit into the house. She could not see the rabbit's gloves anywhere, but grabbed his fan and decided to run out of the house. As soon as she came out, she started shrinking again.
Oh no! What is this? Will I ever be back to my normal size again?
One of my mushrooms makes you grow tall, and the other side makes you shrink. Alice turned to see who was talking to her. It was a caterpillar sitting on a mushroom. She quickly ate a piece from the side he was pointing and came back to her normal size. She thanked him for his help and asked,
How do I get back home? Could you please tell me that? That path leads to the Mad Hatter and the other one to the rabbit's home.
This time it was a cat that sat in the tree that spoke. Alice thanked him and took the path to the Mad Hatter. She didn't want to meet the rude rabbit again.
I will meet you in the evening at the Queen's palace.
Halt. To go further, you must answer my question correctly.
Oh, I love riddles. Please do ask me a question.
Tell me, why is a raven like a writing desk?
Alice thought for a while, but she did not know the answer to the riddle.
Oh, I don't know the answer to your question. Could you tell me why?
The Mad Hatter was taken aback. Never had anyone asked him the answer to his own riddle.
Oh well, I don't know either. We don't know anything here. You can go ahead on the path.
Hence, Alice proceeded to the Queen's castle where a game of croquet was on. The Queen was very unkind and unreasonable. If she didn't like someone, she would instruct her soldiers to be off with his or her heads immediately. Her guards had made a mistake earlier in the day, and so she had turned them into cards for the game. When the Queen saw Alice, she instructed her to play with her. "You will play croquet with me, and if I lose, it will be off with the head for you."
Yes, Your Majesty.
Alice was very careful. But the Queen was terrible at the game. And Alice had to try really hard to lose. Ha! You lost. If I like, I will have your head for it. A trumpet sounded far off, and the White Rabbit hopped forward. The royal court is now in session, and you will be tried.
Tried? For what? I haven't even done anything.
You have been accused of stealing heart-shaped tarts from the Queen's kitchen. First, you don't know how to play croquet, and then you dare steal tarts from my kitchen? You should be punished. Off with her head.
This is silly. I haven't even stolen anything. I just reached the castle and started playing with the Queen.
She looked at the White Rabbit, the Mad Hatter, the Caterpillar, and the Cheshire Cat. They were all looking at her and smiling.
What is going on?
Alice felt someone tapping her arm. It was her sister. "Wake up, Alice! You fell asleep sitting next to me. It's time for lunch."
What a strange dream I had. I promise I will never complain of being bored while you read. That is such a strange story, Tia. Next time you sit to read, I too will write my own story instead of getting bored.
Okay, but I have to be the first one you tell it to. Okay, Tofu?
Yes.
Bye, Melly. I will call you later. Hey, Tofu. How was your day?
Oh, it was such a fun day, Tia. You know, that new boy who has joined my class, Kate?
Yes. The one whom all the teachers like so much?
Well, not anymore. They don't.
What do you mean, Tofu?
Some of us got together and got her into real trouble with the teachers. The teachers think it was all her fault.
Tofu? That's horrible. How could you?
Relax, Tia. No one will ever know.
I am very disappointed with you, Tofu. But you know what? evil can never win.
What are you talking about, Tia?
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time, there lived a king with his wife. Sadly, they had no children. This made the queen very sad. On a winter day, when it was snowing heavily, the queen sat in her garden and prayed with all her heart to have a daughter as beautiful as the winter, fair as snow, and with lips as red as the last red rose that bloomed in the garden. Her prayers were answered a year later when she gave birth to a daughter, just as she wanted. But the childbirth was so difficult for the queen that she died during it, leaving behind the king and their daughter, Snow White. As time passed, the princess started asking for her mother.
Father, where is mother? Why don't I have a mother?
Soon you will have one, my princess.
The word spread in the kingdom that the king had decided to remarry. Families who had daughters of marriageable age started trying to impress the king, but no maiden could win his heart. Till one day, an enchanting woman showed up alone at the palace. The king fell in love with her immediately, and they were married soon.
My queen, this whole palace is yours. It is your own home. Go where you like. Ask for whatever you want.
Thank you, kind king, but all I need is a room to store my mirror that I have brought with me.
Yes, I noticed that all you have brought is that large, round mirror. I am happy as long as you are happy, dear.
Oh, you know what will make me truly happy?
What is it?
Your death.
The queen was actually an evil witch who had pretended to be nice so that the king would marry her. Her true motive was to have a kingdom of her own. She had only one other desire: to be the fairest woman in the world. Every day, she would stand in front of her mirror, which had magical powers, and ask it the same question.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? It is you, O Queen.
This went on for many years. The queen ruled the kingdom without any real love for its people. The people suffered under her reign, but no one dared say anything because they knew that the queen was a witch. The Princess Snow White also had a similar fate. The queen did not even bother to look at her even once and left her alone and lonely. Till it was Snow White's 16th birthday.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
Snow White.
No! How dare you say that?
I do not lie, Queen.
She must die! She must die! God, come in!
One of her most trusted guards came in.
Take Snow White and kill her now!
But my queen, she is just a child.
Do as you are told.
Yes, my queen.
Afraid of the queen's anger, the guard took Snow White deep into the jungle to kill her. But as he raised his sword to kill her, he looked into her blue eyes and lost his courage to strike. He just left her there and ran. Lost, Snow White wandered deeper into the jungle. There, she came across a tiny cottage. She decided to enter it.
Look at this tiny home. I wonder who lives here.
She saw 7 tiny beds. A dining table with 7 small chairs and a kitchen which had 7 plates and tumblers.
There is 7 of everything here. I think 7 people live here. But why is everything so small and tiny?
Snow White was just looking around when 7 dwarfs entered the house. It was their home.
Who are you?
Oh, hello. I didn't hear you come in. My name is Snow White. I am the princess.
The princess? We saw a royal guard kill a reindeer and pull its heart out. Yes, and he was mumbling to himself that he will tell the queen that he had killed the princess and brought her heart for the queen.
Yes, the Queen's guard brought me here. I think he wanted to kill me, but ran away, leaving me alone.
Don't worry, princess. You can stay here with us. That way, you will be safe.
Oh, thank you so much.
Snow White started staying with the dwarf brothers. In the day, they would go out into the jungle to hunt and earn money, while Snow White would stay home and cook for them and take care of their house. They all lived happily together.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Snow White.
You are lying to me because I didn't visit you since you said this the last time.
I cannot lie when you ask me something.
But Snow White is dead.
Snow White is alive. Your God lied to you.
That God will die, and so will Snow White.
Using her magic, the queen disguised herself as an old woman. She even made the mirror tell her where Snow White lived now. As she entered into the jungle, she saw Snow White filling a jar with water from a stream.
I am very thirsty. Please give me some water.
Yes, yes. Here, Please, have as much as you want.
Thank you, dear girl. Please take this apple as a thank you from me.
The apple looked so beautiful and tempting that Snow White just couldn't say no to it. She took it from the old woman, but she didn't know that the queen had poisoned the apple. As soon as she took one bite of the apple, the poison affected her. She fell down, stopped breathing, and had no heartbeat. The queen became very happy and rejoiced as she made her way back to the castle. But she was too distracted by her joy and fell into quicksand. With no one to help, she sank and died. Meanwhile, the dwarfs came home and saw Snow White lying there dead. They were heartbroken.
Who did that to her? I think the queen found out about her. Look at that black half-eaten apple. I don't want to let go of her. Let us keep her in a glass box.
And so the dwarfs kept her in the glass box in the garden near their home. Every day they would keep a red rose on her box. One day, a young prince came into the forest. There he saw the 7 dwarfs sitting by Snow White. He got down from his horse and went to see. His eyes fell on Snow White, who was in the box. Who is she? What has happened to her? When the dwarfs had finished telling him everything, the prince was sad too. I am in love with her. I wish I had a chance to meet her once. Now all I want to do is kiss her. And so the prince lifted the lid of the glass box and kissed Snow White. As soon as he kissed her, Snow White opened her eyes. The curse of the poisoned apple had been broken. My princess, you are alive! Your love woke me up, dear prince. Encouraged by the prince's support, Snow White decided to go back to her kingdom and face the queen. When she reached there, she found out that the queen was dead and the kingdom was joyous to have the princess back. Snow White took over the throne with the prince by her side and even invited the dwarfs to come in the castle and stay with them. With her return, the kingdom was joyous once again.
Tia, can you please take me to Kate's house? I have to apologize to her right away. I think I have been evil to her.
Good decision, Tofu. Yes, I will take you there. Come on, let's go.
Thanks, Tia. And I promise, tomorrow I will tell the teachers the truth too.
Did you have a good birthday, Tofu?
Yes, very much.
And look at all the lovely gifts you've got.
Yes.
Why? What's wrong?
Nothing is wrong, but I just thought Grandmom could have got me a better gift than the single rose flower.
Tofu, that's not a nice thing to say. You didn't notice her love for you that made her fly all the way across the country to be with you today.
Love? But that's not a gift.
Maybe you'll think differently once you hear the story of the Snow Queen. The Snow Queen. Once upon a time, in a small village lived two neighbors who were best friends too. Their names were Gerda and Kay. They loved each other a lot. As a symbol of their friendship and love, one day they both planted a rose plant each in their front yards. Every morning, they would get together and water their plants and take care of them. When winters came, Gerda invited Kay.
Why don't you come over in the afternoon? My grandma has promised to make us a cup of hot chocolate and tell us a story.
Okay, Gerda, I will come over after finishing my chores.
As promised, Kay went to Gerda's home in the afternoon.
Tell us the story of the Snow Queen, Grandmama.
Bah, there is no Snow Queen. Do you still believe in such stories? Little did Kay know that the Snow Queen did exist. And she had a magic mirror with which she could look at anybody. And right at that moment, she was looking into Gerda's living room where they sat. Doesn't believe in me, does he? I will send him my ice arrows that will turn him cold. All the love will be gone from his eyes and his heart will freeze over. And the Snow Queen sent her ice arrows towards Kay. As soon as they entered Gerda's home, they went straight for Kay's eyes and heart.
Ouch! My eyes! What's happening? They hurt!
What is wrong, Kay?
Ouch! My heart! It hurts too!
Kay, what's wrong? Are you okay? Suddenly, Kay's whole behavior changed towards Gerda.
Oh, stop being such a wimp, Gerda. Nothing is wrong. Get away from me.
Saying so, he shoved Gerda aside and went home. Over the next few days, he would give cold, mean looks to Gerda and would never talk to her nicely. He wouldn't even come to tend to the roses that they had planted. One morning, when Gerda was watering the plants, she saw Kay get into a carriage with a lady who was wearing a white gown. She had skin like diamonds and her hair was silver white. Gerda immediately knew that it was the Snow Queen. She decided to follow her, but the carriage just vanished into thin air. So she went to her grandmama.
Here, take this hand mirror and follow what it tells you. The mirror only tells you the truth.
Gerda took the mirror from her grandma and looked into it. The mirror told her to find the flower garden. So Gerda went looking for it. Meanwhile, once the Snow Queen reached the palace, she told Kay to make it his home from now on.
This is your home now. You will never leave here. And once your heart freezes over, you will be mine forever.
Back in the village, Gerda found the flower garden and entered it. The garden was full of the most beautiful flowers Gerda had ever seen. She fell in love with them immediately. But there was no smell of the flowers. Surprised, Gerda bent down and touched one of the flowers to understand if they were real. As soon as she touched one flower, the fragrances of all flowers returned and the flower lady appeared in front of her.
Thank you. You have returned the fragrance of my flowers. Who are you? I am the owner of this garden. I am the flower lady. Can you help me? Have you seen my friend Kay pass through here? He has been taken by the Snow Queen.
Oh no, the Snow Queen. She is one who had taken away the fragrance of my flowers. I did not see Kay cross from here, but you should try the river outside the village.
Gerda thanked the flower lady and went to the river. There she saw a boat waiting for her. She climbed into the boat and it took her to the pirate ship. Aboard the ship, Gerda saw many pirates, including a girl pirate.
Hello, can you help me? I am looking for my friend Kay. The Snow Queen has taken him.
I don't know any Kay. And even if I did, I wouldn't tell you, because once aboard the pirate ship, you can't go anywhere. You have to be here.
No, please, you have to let me go. Kay is my friend. I have to save him.
Friend, you say? Well, I have never had a friend. Okay, I will help you if you promise to be my friend.
Yes, of course. I would love to be your friend.
Okay then. Take my reindeer. He is the fastest reindeer in the world, and she knows where the Snow Queen's palace is.
Gerda thanked the pirate girl and climbed on the back of the reindeer. Just as the pirate girl had promised, the reindeer had Gerda outside the Snow Queen's palace in no time. Gerda got off the reindeer and went inside the palace.
Kay? Kay? Are you in here?
What are you doing here?
I am here to take my friend back with me.
Your friend doesn't exist anymore. Look at him, standing there in the corner. Just in a few minutes, his heart will freeze over, and then he will be mine forever.
Gerda turned to see where the Snow Queen had pointed. In the corner stood Kay. His lips were blue and eyes were steely cold.
Gerda rushed to him. Kay, it's me, your friend. When Kay didn't reply, she reached out for his hand. His old friend's touch returned the color in Kay's eyes. Encouraged by this change, Gerda pushed on. Remember all the times we had fun at home? And our roses that we have in the front yard?
There is no point in all this. His heart will freeze soon.
Hearing this, Gerda broke down and started crying. As she was crying, her tears rolled down from her eyes and onto the hands of Kay. As soon as that happened, Kay looked up at Gerda and smiled. Gerda, my friend, you came for me.
This is impossible. Nothing can ever turn my curse over.
She tried to pull Gerda away from Kay. And that's when Grandma's mirror fell out of Gerda's pocket. When the Queen looked into it, it spoke to her.
Snow Queen, you have been mistaken. There is one power stronger than your curse, and it is the power of love.
Hearing this truth, the Snow Queen started crying and soon dissolved in a pool of her own tears.
Oh, now I feel so terrible, Tia. I think I have not been fair to Grandmom.
Well, you still have time to make things better, Tofu.
Yeah, you are right, Tia. I will go to her and apologize right away.
Don't forget to give her a kiss and a big hug.
Animals have such an easy life, Tia. No school, no rules, no homework. What do they have to worry about?
Everybody has their troubles, Tofu. Let me tell you the story of Thumbelina. Once upon a time, a woman lived by herself in a faraway village. She was very lonely after her husband had died. She always wanted to have a child, but alas, she didn't have any. One day, she went to her friend who was a witch. The witch gave her a grain of barley and told her to go back home and plant it. The woman did as she was told. The next morning, a beautiful plant had grown from the seed. It had a lovely flower that looked like a tulip. The woman had never seen a flower like that and was mesmerized by its beauty. She gently kissed one of its petals. As she did that, the flower blossomed open. Inside it was a beautiful little girl, no bigger than the size of the woman's thumb. The woman instantly fell in love with her and called her Thumbelina. Thumbelina took away the woman's loneliness. In the day,
she would tell her stories and talk to her. Sometimes she would make Thumbelina a boat out of a tulip petal which she could row in a plate full of water. At night, Thumbelina would sleep in a bed out of a walnut shell with a blanket made of a rose petal. One night, as she was sleeping, a frog came to her window and saw her. He thought to himself, "What a beautiful girl! She will make a lovely bride for my son." And so he grabbed Thumbelina and hopped away to his home. When his son saw his bride-to-be, he was very happy. "She is beautiful, father. I will marry her. But before that, I want to build her a beautiful house."
Okay, son. I will put her on the water lily in the middle of the pond till then. This way she will not be able to escape.
And so the frog put Thumbelina in the middle of the pond on a water lily leaf. Thumbelina tried to escape from her new home, but when she couldn't, she broke down crying. Two minnows were sitting under the same leaf and they heard her cry. They asked her about her troubles, and when she told them, they decided to help her. They nibbled away the lily stem. Soon it broke and floated away with Thumbelina. Just when Thumbelina thought she was free, a beetle came down and took her away to his home. He called over his friends to introduce them to his pretty prisoner. But the beetle's friends told him that she was too different than them and she didn't belong with them.
I agree. I think I should let her go.
And so he dropped her in the long grass and flower. Thumbelina was very happy that she was free from her captors. However, she still did not know where her home was. She spent many days in the grass and between the flowers. She would eat the pollen of the flowers and drink the dew from the leaves. One day, as she was walking, she stumbled upon a small house made of mud. It had a strange round entrance. She went up to it and knocked on the door. A mouse opened the door.
Oh, hello there. Isn't it cold out there for you today? Come in, please. Thank you so much.
Once Thumbelina was settled comfortably in the mouse's house, he asked her about who she was. Thumbelina told him her entire story.
Do not worry. You can stay here as long as you like.
So Thumbelina started staying in her newfound home. To make herself useful in the house, she would cook for the mouse and tell him stories. After a few days, the mouse said he had invited a guest over.
He is the richest mouse in all the land. He is a very good friend of mine.
That night, the mouse's friend came over for dinner. They all talked and had a very good time. During the course of dinner, the friend fell in love with Thumbelina and declared that he would marry her. Thumbelina had no choice but to go along with what was happening. When the friend offered to show her his home, she agreed to visit his house. And the three of them set off together. On the way, they entered a tunnel. There they found an injured swallow lying on the ground. The mouse's friend kicked it and rudely said,
Serves her right. What is she doing in the tunnels? He should have stayed in the air.
Thumbelina was shocked to see that someone could treat another like this. Unseen by the mice, she ran away from there. Once she was sure that the mice had left, she came back and attended to the swallow. She took great care of her. Till she was fit to fly again. It became spring by the time the swallow could fly again. She told Thumbelina,
I have to join my family and friends. They have flown away to a warmer place. I cannot stay here. Come with me.
But Thumbelina had had enough adventure and did not want to go anywhere else, and so the swallow flew away. A few months had passed when the love-struck friend of the mouse found Thumbelina again.
Oh, my beloved, I have been looking for you everywhere. Now I have found you and must marry you.
Thumbelina knew there was no way out of it for her, so she asked him if she could spend one last day out in the open air before she was confined to living the rest of her life underground with him. As she roamed in the open fields for one last time, she heard a familiar voice.
Come away with me, where your spirit will always be free.
Thumbelina saw her old friend who had returned for her. This time around, she agreed and hopped on the back of the swallow, and they took off. They flew over land and water and fields of green.
When they reached the land of the flowers, the swallow landed Thumbelina on a beautiful flower petal.
This is the kingdom of the flowers, and that is their king.
Thumbelina saw a handsome young king with beautiful wings. He was surrounded by lovely flowers. As soon as she saw him, she knew she wanted to call this place home. Her presence attracted the king's attention. He too fell in love with her immediately. "Will you marry me?"
Yes,
As happiness spread across her face, she grew a beautiful pair of wings and became the Flower Queen.
oh wow, Tia. I don't know what I would do if I would land in such a strange world. I think I am happy where I am. Tia, aren't you going to your friend's party?
No, Tofu. Mommy has asked me to stay home with you tonight because she and Papa will be returning home late.
Oh no. I'm sorry, Tia. Because of me, you can't go to your party.
It's okay, Tofu. Sometimes we have to sacrifice things for the ones we love. Just like the Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid. Is it a story? Tell me, Tia, please.
The Little Mermaid. Once upon a time, there was a sea kingdom at the bottom of the sea. The king of the seas had 6 beautiful daughters who were mermaids. They were all very beautiful, but the youngest of them was the prettiest of them all. She had a gentle face, big round eyes, and a voice sweeter than anyone else's in the world. When the Little Mermaid turned 15 years old, her grandmother called her to her room. "Come, my darling. Today you have turned 15. And from now onwards, you can go to the world above. Just remember, the people above are very different from us. They do not have a beautiful fishtail like us. Instead, they have 2 legs."
Thank you, Grandmother. I have waited for this day for so long. When I return, I will tell you about everything I see above.
That night, the Little Mermaid went to the surface of the water. The sight of the stars and the cool breeze that touched her face took her breath away. She was just getting used to the feeling when she saw a big ship cross in front of her. Aboard it were many men, and they were celebrating the birthday
of the young prince who had just turned 16. The little mermaid was mesmerized with the handsome looks of the prince. She couldn't take her eyes off him as the ship sailed past her. She was so lost in him that she did not notice the storm build up in the sky and the sea begin to rage. The ship had only sailed a little further when the storm shook it up. The sailors tried to stir it to safety, but many men, including the prince, fell into the sea. The little mermaid rushed to him and saved him from drowning. She took him ashore.
Don't worry, you are safe. Open your eyes.
But the prince lay unconscious. The mermaid decided to get help. When she couldn't get any, she came back to where the prince was. She saw him surrounded by many people. A beautiful princess was kneeling by him as others worked to awaken him. The prince opened his eyes, and the little mermaid was relieved that her prince will be saved now.
You saved my life. Thank you.
The prince knew nothing about the little mermaid. He didn't even know that it was she who had actually saved his life. This broke the mermaid's heart. She went back to her father's home. She told her sisters and grandmother what had happened. Forget him, child. Humans and we are very different. To be with him forever, you will have to get him to love you more than anything else he loves in the world, even more than his own parents. How will that ever happen? Think about it. But the little mermaid could not forget the handsome prince. Every night she visited the spot where she had laid him after saving his life. One day, she decided to visit the witch in her father's kingdom. Maybe she knew a way that the mermaid could be with the prince.
Yes, there is a way. I can send you to the land above the sea. You will lose your fishtail and have legs. If by the second sunset you can get the prince to love you more than he loves his parents, then you can be with him forever. Otherwise, you will die and become foam in the sea. But in return, you must give me your voice.
But without my voice, how will I make the prince fall in love with me?
You still have your pretty face and eyes. You will also be the most beautiful dancer anyone has ever seen. Now go.
In a flash, the mermaid found herself on the land. Her fishtail turned into human legs. It caused her pain, but she could not even scream because the witch had taken her voice away. Somehow, the mermaid made her way to the prince's castle. There was a big celebration going on there, but the guards would not let the mermaid enter because they didn't know who she was, and she couldn't answer them when they asked her about it. So she was not allowed to enter. Somewhere in the castle, music started playing. Remembering what the witch had said about dancing, Little Mermaid started dancing.
Oh, I have never seen anyone dance so beautifully. Maybe she has come to dance for the royal family in the celebrations. Oh, she is a dancer. Let me take her to the court.
Once the mermaid reached the royal court, she saw that the celebration was for the wedding of the prince. Little Mermaid was heartbroken. She thought the only way of meeting the prince now would be to dance and draw his attention towards her. And so she performed a beautiful dance for the royal family. When the prince saw her, he came up to her.
Hello, young lady. I have seen you in my dreams. Who are you?
In his heart, the prince hoped that she would be the one who had saved him from drowning. He longed to hear the voice that had saved him when he was dying. But no sound came out when the little mermaid tried to reply.
Forgive me. I think I'm confused between you and someone else. But please do join us.
The prince led her to the ship on which the wedding was going to take place. Many people spoke to her, but she could not answer anyone. The princess was especially kind to her and took special care of her.
I know you saved the prince that day. Thank you. Because of you, I have found the love of my life. Please always stay with us.
The little mermaid saw that the princess and the prince loved each other and were very happy together. She decided not to pursue the prince anymore. He belonged to another woman. Although her heart ached to let him go, she happily attended the wedding and all the celebrations that went on throughout the next day. Soon it was evening. The second sunset was about to happen. The little mermaid knew she would die and become foam on the sea. As she stood there, looking at the prince and his princess, she heard some voices behind her. She turned around to see. Her sisters were there in the water. But all of them had very short hair now, instead of the long flowing locks they used to have earlier.
Sisters, what are you doing here?
We have come to save you. We went to the witch. In exchange of her hair, she gave us this knife. If you stab the prince through his heart before sunset, you can be saved. Handing the knife to the youngest sister, all the other sisters vanished under the water once again. The little mermaid stood there holding the knife to her heart. She looked at the newlyweds once again. She knew what she had to do. At the sunset, she tossed the knife into the sea.
Goodbye, my love.
And so, for the happiness of her beloved prince, the little mermaid sacrificed her own life and joined the sea as foam.
Tia, this is such a beautiful story. It shows how much the little mermaid loved the prince. Thank you for not going to the party and staying with me.
That's because I love you, my little brother.
I love you too, my darling sister Tia. Look at that man, Tia. He looks so scary. I wouldn't want to be around him.
That is not a nice thing to say, Tofu. Just because he scares you doesn't mean he's not kind and caring. Let me tell you a story of the Beauty and the Beast. The Beauty and the Beast. Belle lived in a village with her father Morris, who was an inventor. One morning, as she was returning from the market, a hunter named Gaston stopped her. Gaston was an arrogant young man. Everybody in the village knew he always got what he wanted. But no one ever dared stand up against him because his father was the village head. The only person who paid no attention to Gaston was Belle. But Gaston was obsessed with her and wanted to marry her.
Belle, let me walk you home.
Oh, Gaston, no, thank you. I can go home myself.
I insist. I have to talk to your father about something important too.
Belle continued walking, ignoring Gaston, who started walking with her. Once home, Belle quickly went inside.
Morris, Morris, come out. I have to talk to you. What is it? It is your lucky day. I am going to marry Belle. You have lost your mind. Go away, Gaston. Belle is never going to marry you.
Just then, there was a loud explosion in Morris's lab. And he took off towards it. Belle also ran towards her father's lab. Seeing that there was no one he could push around, Gaston left.
Papa, are you alright?
I have done it, Belle. My experiment was successful. I am leaving for the fair in the nearby village immediately. You will see, my child. People are going to love this.
And so Morris leapt on his horse Philip and rode off. But as he was crossing the forest, he got lost. After a few hours, Philip and he landed in front of a huge, lonely castle. There was no one in sight, so Morris tied Philip to a pole at the entrance and went inside the castle. It was pitch dark inside. A few candles were lit in the corners.
Hello? Is anyone here? I am lost. Can you help me?
A large shadow came across the wall. As it came into light, Morris saw that it was not a man, but a huge, angry beast with an ugly scar across his face.
How dare you enter my castle? You need help? I will help you. I'm sorry. I will leave immediately.
And Morris started running back the way he had come. But the beast got him and started dragging him. He took him down the staircase and locked him in the dungeon.
Please let me go. Please let me go. You will stay here forever. This dungeon is your world now.
A whole day had passed and Morris hadn't returned. Belle got worried and decided to go to the nearby village to look for her father. But she too got lost in the forest and landed up at the same castle. Philip was still there, tied to the pole. Belle decided to go inside, just in case her father was there.
Hello? Papa? Anybody here?
How dare you enter my castle? Get out right away before I lock you in the dungeon too.
Suddenly, the beast moved out of the shadows and stood in front of Belle. She was terrified of him, but dared not run. Somewhere from far away, she could hear another voice. It was her father.
Please let me go. Let me go, please. Open this door. Let me go, please.
Do you have my father? Can you please let him go?
Hey, what are you saying?
I will stay instead of him. Please let him go.
Hearing this, the beast took Belle's hand and dragged her up the stairs. He led her into a huge room.
So be it. Your father is free, and you shall be my prisoner forever.
And so it was.
No matter how much Morris protested, the beast threw Morris out of the castle and into the forest with Philip. When dinner time came, Belle did not join the beast for dinner. Instead, she stayed in her room crying. The beast entered her room and said,
If you are going to stay in this castle, you have to follow its rules. You are expected at dinner. Don't you dare miss it next time.
You are a monster! You didn't even let me see my father one last time! Go away! I hate you!
Seeing Belle heartbroken, the beast felt bad. He pulled out a hand mirror from his coat and gave it to her. In the mirror, she would be able to see whomever she wanted to see at that moment. Belle looked into the mirror and saw her father finally leaving from the castle and riding into the forest. But to her horror, she saw he and Philip had suddenly been attacked by a pack of wolves. She gave out a loud cry and ran downstairs out of the castle gates and towards her father. Soon, she found herself and her father Morris surrounded by ferocious wolves. Just as the wolves were about to attack Belle, a large paw grabbed one of them by the neck and threw it away. The wolves now turned on the beast, who had decided to follow Belle and help her save her father. The beast scared them off, but not before they had bit into his arm and injured Morris too. He put Morris on Philip, who took off riding as soon as his master was secure. The beast tried to walk towards the castle but fainted and fell. He woke up 2 days later to find Belle sitting by his bedside in his room. The wounds on the arm had been bandaged.
You didn't go?
You are awake! I hope you're feeling better. Thank you for saving our lives.
Over the next few days, Belle nursed the beast back to health. As they spent time together, Belle realized that he wasn't as mean as he appeared to be the first day they had met. In turn, the beast learned to change his ways and became gentler and kinder. Soon they became very good friends. One day, Belle asked the beast if she could see her father in the mirror. The beast agreed and gave her the mirror. In the mirror, Belle saw all the villagers storming her house. They thought that Morris had gone mad and wanted to send him to the doctor. Nobody believed him when he kept insisting that Belle had been kept as a prisoner by a beast. Worried about her father, Belle requested if she could go to the village for a day just to save her father. And though the beast knew that she might never return, he agreed.
Go. But take this mirror with you. In case you ever want to see me.
Once Belle reached her house, she stood between her father and the villagers and tried to explain the truth. But the angry mob, led by Gaston, who wanted revenge from Maurice and Belle for turning his wedding proposal down, wouldn't listen. Gaston grabbed Belle's hand and tried to get her out of the way. As she struggled to free herself, the beast's mirror fell out of her pocket. In it was the beast, looking right at them all.
Goodness! She's shown the beast the way to the village. We must go and kill him before he comes here.
The angry mob started marching towards the castle with fire torches and swords. They left behind Maurice and Belle locked up in their house. Soon they stormed the castle gates. Gaston went upstairs and challenged the beast to a fight. But the beast had had a change of heart. He did not wish to fight, so he came out of the balcony unarmed and tried to talk to the villagers. But Gaston wouldn't have it. He wanted to kill the beast, and so he attacked him. His sword pierced through the beast's stomach. Shocked, the beast swung his arm to protect himself. Scared, Gaston stepped backwards and fell off the balcony and died. Somehow, Belle had escaped from her house. And reached the balcony just as the beast fell on the floor.
I love you, Belle.
I love you too. Please don't go.
Suddenly, the castle lit up with thousands of candles. As Belle still lay crying by the beast, he turned into a handsome young prince.
Belle, it's me. You freed me from the witch's spell. To break the spell, I had to love and win the love of another. You loved me even though I was a beast. You saved me, Belle. You saved me. It really is you? As they hugged each other, they saw the rest of the castle and the forest bloom with beautiful trees and flowers. So you see, Tofu, you should never judge people by the way they look.
I'm sorry, Tia. I will always remember this now. You know, my friend John stays with his cousins. Yesterday, he came late to the class and the teacher scolded him a lot. John said his cousin brothers made him finish their course before they let him leave for school. He said they always trouble him and make him do a lot of housework.
Oh no, he must feel really bad.
John is a very nice boy. He doesn't disobey anyone. He's very nice to his cousin brothers despite the way they treat him.
That is very nice of him. we should always forgive people for their mistakes. Have you heard the story of Cinderella? Once upon a time, there lived a young girl called Cinderella. Cinderella's mother had died, and so her father had married another woman who had 2 daughters. One day, Cinderella's father went to work and never returned. Cinderella was left at the mercy of her stepmother and 2 stepsisters who made her do all the work of the house.
Cinderella, it's morning already. Where is our breakfast?
Just a moment, stepmother. I am just bringing it out.
As soon as Cinderella had laid the breakfast, the stepmother and stepsisters started eating it. Cinderella served her own plate too and was about to eat when her stepsister pushed her own plate away.
Yuck! I hate it.
Yes, now that you mention it, it really is horrible. Mother, do something.
Cinderella, are you trying to kill us? What kind of food is this?
But stepmother, I have made it the way I always make it.
How dare you argue with me? Go and make new breakfast for us. Don't you dare do anything else till we have had our breakfast.
And this is what went on in their house every day. The stepmother and stepsisters troubled Cinderella without any reason. But Cinderella loved them still and never ever complained. One day, an announcement was made in the village.
Let everybody know. There will be a royal ball at the palace tomorrow night, and the king's son, Prince Charming, will marry a maiden from amongst the guests. Everybody from the village is invited.
The whole village was excited. Even Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters couldn't stop talking about it in the house. And that is how Cinderella found out about the ball.
The royal ball! Prince Charming! The whole village is invited. I will finish my work quickly so we can all go together. Won't it be just wonderful?
You! Who said anything about you going? You will stay here and polish our shoes till you can see your face in them.
And so, with a heavy heart, Cinderella saw her stepmother and stepsisters dress up and leave for the royal ball the next day. Once they had left, she cried bitterly. Suddenly, her room lit up, and Cinderella saw the most beautiful fairy she could imagine. She held in her hand a delicate wand.
Who are you?
Get up, child. I am your fairy godmother. I am here to get you to the royal ball.
Really? I never knew I had a fairy godmother. But how will I get to the ball? I don't have anything to wear.
You don't worry about that, my child. And so, in just a few minutes, Cinderella was ready for the royal ball. As she thanked her fairy godmother and got aboard the chariot, she received a word of caution from the fairy godmother. Remember to be back home at 12, otherwise the spell will wear off. Soon Cinderella arrived at the palace. As she entered the great ballroom, everyone turned to look who this beautiful maiden was. Nobody could recognize her. Not even her own stepmother and stepsisters. Prince Charming walked to her.
May I have this dance with you?
Yes, Your Highness. And so Cinderella and Prince Charming danced together throughout the evening. Till Cinderella heard the clock strike. Fairy godmother's words came back to her. She needed to get out of there before the clock struck 12. Without saying a word, she tore away from the prince's grasp and ran out of the palace. The prince ran after her. Wait! What is wrong? Why are you running? I don't even know your name. But Cinderella dared not wait or even look back. Her beautiful gown was already turning into rags again. Her hair was coming loose from the perfect bun that the fairy godmother had made for her. She didn't even stop when one of the glass slippers came off her foot and fell in the palace driveway. She ran out of the palace gates and vanished into the darkness on a path that led to her home. Once home, she went back to polishing the shoes that had been given to her and decided never to speak to anyone about the ball. A few days later, 2 men from the palace showed up at their door.
The lady that Prince Charming fell in love with left behind her glass slipper at the royal ball. The prince believes that such a beautiful slipper could fit only his beloved. And so we're asking all the girls in the village to try the slipper. The one whom it fits would be the one the prince will marry. If you have any girls in the house, please ask them to try the slipper.
Oh, yes. I am sure it was one of my daughters. The slipper would fit one of them.
And so both the stepsisters tried to fit their foot into the slipper one by one. They pushed and pushed, but couldn't get their foot in.
Looks like it wasn't your daughters after all. Is there any other young lady in the house? No, there isn't. You can leave.
As the king's men made ready to leave, suddenly the door of the house was thrown open. and Prince Charming himself stood there.
Who is this beautiful girl in the upstairs window? Madam, you have lied to us. I demand that the girl be called forth and try the slipper.
Yes, but she is only a servant girl. Nevertheless, Cinderella, come down here at once.
Yes, stepmother.
The moment Prince Charming saw Cinderella, he knew he had found his beloved. He took the slipper from the king's man and slipped it onto her foot himself. The slipper fit perfectly in a moment. Cinderella was once again transformed into the beautiful maiden from the night of the ball. Prince Charming took her to the palace with him.
He ordered that the stepmother and stepsisters be punished for lying to the king's men and treating Cinderella so badly and rudely.
But being the kind-hearted person that she was, Cinderella asked for them to be forgiven. The prince fell in love with her even more for her generosity, and they lived happily ever after.
Wow, Tia, how wonderful is it to forgive people? Thank you for telling me this story.
I will tell it to John too. I'm sure he will like it. Okay, shall we go home now? I think it's getting late.
Tia, yesterday in our class, my friend Ben forgot to bring one of his textbooks, and Ted offered to share his textbook with him. Ben promised Ted to help him in learning football after school. But after school, when Ted asked Ben to help as promised, instead of helping, Ben left for his home.
That's bad. One should always stand by their promises.
But Tia, today again Ben forgot his textbook, and when he asked Ted to help, Ted refused.
Tofu, we should be sensitive towards every human being. You know, we should always help people around. Come, I'll tell you a story. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful princess in the kingdom of a very humble king. The princess was so pampered by her father that she turned out to be a little proud of the fact that she is a princess. Many a times the king asked her to be more humble towards the people around her, because that's the way a princess should be.
I know, my little princess, that you are my pampered child. But you should be little more empathetic towards other people. Everybody is same. It's just that some are fortunate, some are not.
But the princess just ignored what her father had to say and went out to play with the golden ball that her father had gifted her on her birthday. She loved the ball, but no sooner had she started playing that her ball bounced and went into a pond.
Oh God, my favorite golden ball! I would give anything to get back my favorite ball. anything.
Hearing the princess cry out loudly, a frog leaped up and sat on a lotus leaf and said,
Princess, I just saw what happened. I will get the golden ball back for you. But you have to promise me something.
How in the world did the slimy frog talk? The princess only wanted her ball back, so she hurriedly said yes.
What is it that you want in return? I want you to take me back to your palace and pamper me. I would eat with you, play with you, and sleep in bed with you.
The princess was horrified at the very idea and had no intention of doing any such thing. She agreed to the condition as she thought the frog would not be able to reach the palace on his own, and she had no intention of taking him along with her. She told him to hurry and get the ball back and waited with bated breath for her golden ball. The frog jumped into the pond and in no time at all came back with the golden ball. She took the ball from him and ran back to her palace as fast as she could.
Princess, come back! You promised to take me with you. You can't break your promise.
But the princess ignored to his calling and ran as fast as she could. She was relieved when she reached her room and soon forgot all about the frog. At night, while she was having dinner with her father, there was a loud knock on the door.
Open the door, oh princess! It's me, the frog from the pond. You promised to keep me with you. Being a true princess, you should keep up to your promise now.
Who is that? And what does he want?
The princess, being a little scared of her father, told him about the afternoon incidents. And how she broke her promise.
You are a true princess, my love, and you should keep up to your promise, no matter what.
Feeling helpless, the princess opened the door and let the frog enter. He hopped on to the seat next to her and asked her to let him eat from her plate. The frog ate till his tummy was full. But the princess couldn't eat a single bite, thinking about the slimy frog eating from her plate. Then the frog asked her to carry him to her bedroom and let him sleep in her bed. Unwillingly, she picked him up in her hands and went upstairs. The frog jumped on her bed and snuggled cozily in her huge, soft bed. The next morning, the princess got up to find the frog missing from her bed. Happily, she hopped from her bed, thinking that the ordeal was over. But as the night fell, the knock again happened. And again the frog ate from her plate and slept in her bed.
Feeling sad about sharing her food and bed, she went to her father and asked him if she could stop now. The king again told her that a promise was a promise and cannot be broken. It was the third night when the frog came in again to eat and sleep in her bed. But the next morning, the princess was astonished to see that the frog was not in her bed. And a handsome young prince was standing next to her bed.
What? Who are you? Where is the slimy frog?
Dear princess, it's me, the frog. A witch cast a spell on me that could be broken only if a princess would let me eat in her plate and sleep in her bed for 3 nights. You broke that spell by keeping your promise, and here I am, standing in front of you. I am the prince from the neighboring country.
Would you like to be my wife? Not able to resist the handsome prince, she said yes, but had something more to say.
Oh, prince, I would love to be your wife. But how would you forgive me for being so rude to you?
She was guilty like hell, but the prince was a humble man. He said,
Oh, my dear princess, I can understand your reasons and I am ready to forgive you. But you have to promise me that in future you won't judge anybody by the way one looks or the job one does. Everyone is equal, and that's how they should be treated, equally.
Saying this, the prince took her in his arms and decided to take her to his kingdom, where they lived happily ever after.
Oh dear, you are right. We should always keep our promises and help people in need. Thanks for the lovely moral story.
Come, Tofu, let's go and play some games now. For your favorite rhymes, stories, and more, join Kids Hut family. Subscribe here.